Hello and welcome to day 12 of our JUNEwary challenge 2024, and we are looking now at 2 lines of music, a bit like we did on day 9, and in a similar way to how day 9 was, these 2 lines are there because they're quite straightforward. Plenty of notes to think about, plenty more crossing over, but also stuff that is familiar. And the lovely thing about this piece is the chord structure of it is such that you implicitly know where it's going next. Maybe not yet physically, but in your ears, in your oral response to it, you can hear where it's meant to be going next. So I'll play through today first. I will play from bar 9, play both these lines into what we learnt yesterday as well, because that's the joy of doing it this way, that we can get to that point and actually relax into it a bit because we're more confident with it because we've already done the work on it. So starting at bar 9, this is just me playing it through, but I'll count you in case you want to join in. But it's nice speed. 1, 2, 3. And practice taking those levers off as well. Okay, excellent. So that's kind of full speed going through it. So let's now look at it again. Let's think about those chords. So we're starting here on a D chord. So we've got the octave and the fifth, and the top 3 notes of an arpeggio shape there. So we're starting on a D chord, which tells us we're not at the beginning of the piece, because we know that this half of the piece is based around the home key of G minor. And we talked yesterday about that. We've got these F sharps, how G minor is related to the B flat major that the other part we had learnt was in. So home note is G, but we're starting on D. It lets us know that we are part way through a whole section of phrases. So this is like the answering part. So we've starting on this D. Got those following up, left hand jumping over to the F and the A, then we have a G, and that steady ending, and it's like, yes. Then bar 13, our next line, we start on that G, and then we go to a C chord. That's new. And then that leads us back into bar 17, which we know. Home. Okay, so we know that this D chord, we worked this out yesterday, so if our home is G, and we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to a D. So the D chord is chord 5. It's also known as the dominant chord after our home chord. So the dominant chord, it dominates, it's the next most significant chord in Western composing. So we're starting on that dominant place, coming back to our home of G, then we do our G again, and then this time, instead of going to that dominant chord, that chord 5, we go to just 4 notes up from G, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the C chord, which sets the expectation where we're going next. It's here. D, G. Okay, it's really handy to have that kind of structural knowledge of what's going on with it. Really helps for internalizing the piece. It helps if you ever want to memorize it. It helps with innately feeling where we're heading next. Okay. Incidentally, chord 4 would be also called the subdominant. Sub for just being underneath the dominant. And it is probably the 3rd most important chord in our Western composition. So chord 1, the home chord, also known as the tonic. Our home chord, Then we have the dominant, which is chord 5, and take it down 1, you've got chord 4, and that's the subdominant. Okay, so we've got that pattern now. We know we're doing the D, up to the G with crossing overs, then the G again, up to the C, before coming back to our G, D, G. Okay, so then we have the melody over the top of this. On today's 2 lines, the melody is all in the right hand. So it's A and C, an octave above middle C, so A and C, which is tied on, stepping down 1 again, and then back to G and B. And I want that to sing so beautifully, so I'm going to really bend that finger in, really bend that thumb over. Bar 13, we're up to B and D. Let that ring on, step down 1, step back up, step up again. And I just caught a string there. Did you hear the little buzz? So I'd done my B and D at the beginning of bar 13, line 4. And then I just need to be nice and crisp and clean. There, I did it again. So it's as I come out, moving my hand open for the next one. So I maybe need to give my visual attention there a little bit to make sure that I'm not bashing my finger on one of these other strings that's still going. And then to the C and the E. And then I'm going to step down 1, bringing me to bar 17. Okay, so that's the melody that's happening over the top, and then it's a case of putting that together. So we might use some of those skills that we used yesterday, where we might start at bar 9 with the A and the C over this D chord, and it might go, and we might even just pause there, literally to go, have I moved my hands where they're meant to be? And then you might do that again, carrying on, and see if you can get to the way end of the line. Okay, but there's a lot in this which actually, whilst we haven't played these exact notes yet, feels really familiar for what we're doing. So enjoy it, work through it at your own pace, be thinking about these hands jumping over and where they're going next, listen for that melody coming through, and play into what we learnt yesterday. So play into the top of the next line each time, so that we're continuing to build that strong feeling of, yes, we know what's coming up and that's going to be okay. Also really helpful, at least once a day, to play that through all the way to the end of page 2 as well, because we want to make sure that our brain is comfortable with that feeling of flowing into there too. Okay, so keep it up, join me on the play along, and then we only have 2 lines left, which we will do tomorrow. Keep it up. Well done.